My name's Chris Chopp, and I'm the Transportation Director at the Greater Portland Council of Governments, or GPCOG, here today to provide a look back at the accomplishments in transportation in calendar year 2025. And wanted to start off with a couple of the milestone construction projects that broke ground across the region, starting with the Eastern Trail. And this is a 1.6 mile off-road trail segment in Scarborough, Maine, that fills a long-standing gap on the Eastern Trail between South Portland and then trail sections points south of Scarborough. So it's a much-needed gap. It was funded by the Portland Area Comprehensive Transportation System, or PACTS, Maine DOT, the town of Scarborough, South Portland, Eastern Trail Alliance, and others to bring this really important project to completion. And the photos we're looking at are the area that includes crossing a couple of rail lines and rivers, which made it very challenging and expensive to fund. And you could also see a photo of Maine DOT and their contractors dropping the steel bridge over the Nonsuch River. So again, huge milestone for the region. Next up was a project that did not receive any funding from PACTS, but was funded by the Maine Turnpike Authority. It's the Exit 35 interchange in Saco. It opened in fall of 2025 and provides unprecedented access for folks living west of the Maine Turnpike. We do expect it to change travel patterns a bit in the region, so we'll be monitoring those in the future. One thing to note is it'll probably alleviate some of the traffic and congestion on Route 1 in the area near Thornton Academy in Saco. Another project, Maine DOT has been busy over the last few years and will continue to be busy replacing bridges on I-295. They were all built around the same time, and what we're looking at in this photo is Johnson Road in the town of Falmouth. This project, this bridge in the past did not have a sidewalk, and now it does, thanks to the collaborative efforts of Maine DOT and the town of Falmouth to install the sidewalk as part of this bridge replacement, and the town's got plans to extend that sidewalk and connect to the bridge, connecting two different parts of their communities that are separated by the interstate. And you can see the before and after photos there as well. We also have some huge milestones in public transit. Biddeford, Saco, Old Orchard Beach Transit, and Greater Portland Metro received almost $6 million to expand and modernize their fleets. So this federal funding opportunity under the Bus and Bus Facilities Grant Program allowed them to purchase new vehicles and replace some of their aging vehicles that are in their fleet today. Also on public transit, you can see the Battery Steel 600-passenger vessel sitting on its dry dock cradle in Rhode Island, awaiting its voyage to Casco Bay in the coming months. That'll happen in 2026. So a lot of construction went on in calendar year 25, and you can see photos of the vessel, of the front propeller and rudder, and the engine control room as well. So that'll be a huge accomplishment, and this vessel will serve residents and visitors to Peaks Island. Lots of other things happening in the world of public transit. Greater Portland Metro expanded service to Scarborough thanks to a partnership between Metro, Maine Turnpike Authority, and Maine DOT and the town of Scarborough. So they're expanding service to portions of Scarborough where they didn't have transit service in the past. There's a couple other celebrations that you can see here, and we're really happy about it. All of the coordination happening in the Greater Portland region on public transit across the 5 different public transit providers, whether ferry, rail, or bus demand response services. 7 projects received multimodal funding through the Portland Area Comprehensive Transportation, or PACTS. It's about $11 million in investment, and this drawing shows Falmouth Route 88 Four-Side Road. It's a pedestrian improvement project, and so this will be underway, we hope, in calendar year 26. And then there were a lot, all in, 14 projects constructed, about $8 million in total investment. The photo that you're seeing is the Beth Condon Memorial Pathway extension in Yarmouth, and you can see it going underneath the new I-295 bridge that was recently replaced in Yarmouth. So we're looking towards downtown Yarmouth in this photo, and on the next photo, we're showing a rendering of the next phase of this Beth Condon Memorial Pathway, looking towards the town of Freeport. In 2026, that project will be out to bid and under construction, extending this pathway pretty much for the entirety of the town of Yarmouth. And then Freeport has early concepts and ideas for how to extend that north, really creating a connected regional walking and cycling multi-use trail. We also see an example here on the slide of Saco Main Street streetscaping project. Lots of traffic calming and landscaping features as part of this to just create a safer environment for all transportation users. There's still projects in the pipeline. We've got 10 future projects that are funded for design and or construction, about $30 million in total investment. And on your screen, you're seeing the proposed conceptual drawing for Biddeford-Saco multimodal bridge connecting the two communities, which would be great. We also have a lot in the works in terms of transforming what starts as transportation plans and turning them into investments. And you do that through a lot of different coordination. The coordination is very strong between PACTS and Maine DOT, and there are efforts underway for PACTS as a regional table, 17 communities, six transit providers, as well as other stakeholders, Maine DOT, Maine Turnpike Authority, for that table to come together and prioritize projects for the region through a long-range transportation plan. That signals to federal partners that we have our priorities in line and that we're prepared for funding opportunities. So you can see $31 million was prioritized for Maine DOT's work plan by PACTS. Now we're shifting gears. That's a good transition to plans, policies, and programs. All of the work that kind of sets the stage for those investments, the actual projects that are built in the region. And Connect 2050 is certainly the big one. This was our long-range transportation plans adopted by the PACTS Policy Board in November of 25. It was a culmination of over a year of work. It includes a prioritized list of transportation projects, which is a huge milestone and critically important, and again, demonstrating readiness of transportation projects to federal and state partners. The PACTS Policy Board also approved a regional trail plan. This was a plan that identified gaps in the trail network, primarily the off-road trail network across the region, and developed solutions for how to move forward and culminated in a list of prioritized projects that have planning level cost estimates, conceptual designs, and are ready for preliminary design. Complete Streets Design Guidebook was an effort that follows up on our Complete Streets policy, an effort to design streets for all transportation users. And the guidebook uses a very context-sensitive approach and provides different design guidelines for those different contexts, whether rural or suburban or urban or village. There's a lot of good information there, and we hope it's a very useful tool moving forward for communities as they plan and design projects. We also had the Transportation Access Analysis and Action Plan. It's a plan that evaluated how we're spending our investments and where we're spending our investments. In particular, looking at the distribution of resources across the region and ensuring that communities aren't disproportionately harmed by the investments. And it comes up with a lot of different action strategies for how to equitably distribute resources in the future. PACTS also adopted a new public involvement plan. This specifies our policies and procedures for how we engage the public in our transportation work. It's a really important document and guiding document, and it was, again, adopted in November of 2025, updating the plan that was previously in place from 2019. We also have a new Unified Planning Work Program, or UPWP. This spans calendar years 26 and 27. This demonstrates to federal partners how we're spending federal planning funds. We've got 4 key tasks on this, and we hope that there's a lot of great progress in the region on the planning front in the next couple years, again, positioning projects for design and ultimately construction. Our Mobility for All program at GPCOG had several different milestones across calendar year 25. We updated a Southern Maine Mobility Guide, which is a one-stop shop resource for folks trying to understand how to efficiently travel across the region, particularly using public transit. GPCOG partnered with GP Metro to have a garden tour in Portland, giving folks an opportunity to explore gardens, but also ride the bus. And in many cases, these are individuals that have never taken the bus or are nervous to ride the bus. So it just showcases how we can combine, public transit with folks' hobbies to give them the tools and resources they need to be a confident rider. And in many cases, these individuals have told their friends or family members how to ride the bus as well, breaking down that barrier. The 4th cohort of the community transportation leaders graduated in 2025. And these are folks that volunteer to take an in-depth course on transportation planning in our region to have a better sense of how they can be advocates for their communities and themselves, and how to better understand the complex transportation system. The community transportation leaders experience transportation challenges on a daily basis. So it's a really good opportunity to get their perspective. And a lot of times these members go on to serve on committees or boards across the region and remain engaged beyond their curriculum at Community Transportation Leaders. We also have a grant that we're partnering with Cumberland County on, called the Mobility, Access, and Transportation Insecurity Grant. And this will be an effort in partnership with the transit agencies, and will ultimately program and pilot a free and discounted universal transit pass and provide culturally specific mobility navigation services for folks as well. Safe Streets for All. We had 3 demonstration projects across the region and several different studies and road safety audits, all funded and made possible by U.S. Department of Transportation's Safe Streets and Roads for All program, or SS4A program. So we took a multifaceted approach, doing additional analysis on some intersections that are currently not safe. And we also did 3 demonstration projects, as I mentioned, across the region, using temporary materials to very cost-effectively test different designs, engage and evaluate the before and after safety benefits. And we found that in all cases, vehicular speeds went down during the installation periods. Crashes went down as well. So those were a success, and we'll look forward to doing more of those in the next several years. That relates to our Vision Zero effort, our region's commitment to 0 fatalities and serious injuries on our roadways by 2045. And we were guided by a Vision Zero advisory panel. They met several times throughout the year. And then our local communities across the region did a lot on their own, too, to advance Vision Zero locally. Portland and Yarmouth passed local Vision Zero action plans using the regional plan as a guide, and other communities are investing in complete streets policies and toolkits, such as the town of Scarborough. So a lot going on there. Couple plans and studies that are in the works. Reimagining Route 1. There were a number of public meetings on that corridor study in calendar year 25. This is a corridor study that looks at transportation challenges and solutions from Biddeford all the way to Freeport, so across 9 communities, close partnership with Maine DOT, and then a regional roundabout study looking at 3 intersections around the region as candidates for roundabouts. They're currently all signalized intersections. And then a couple of future projects in the pipeline. We're doing a corridor study of Route 302 in calendar year 26. We're looking at our travel demand model to better understand traffic and travel impacts of different investments and strategies. As I mentioned, we're doing more demonstration projects as well, so stay tuned for additional information on those. We're also doing a lot on the data front. Data is critical to supporting decision makers and helping them make very sound decisions at the regional table at PACTS. We've got a number of different things out there, but we're doing speed studies and traffic data collection efforts. And then just to conclude today's conversation, we're looking at 2025 by the numbers, kind of a summary of all of the different accomplishments, whether related to transportation plans or investments. And we so appreciate you all tuning in, and thank you for another great year and for everything you do for our region's transportation system.